Yo, what's poppin' people? 8 teams for Clorinde. Quick disclaimer though, some teams are meta, some aren't and are more experimental. Each team has a purpose or a logic to it, so I'll expand on them when I get to each team. Firstly, Quicken teams are going to be a popular go-to for Clorinde. Kazuha's buffing both her and Refresh Princess and Debelet along, and Nahida's contributing a bit of damage as well as elemental mastery which everyone benefits from. In this team, you can give Clorinde Alhaitham's weapon if you have it. Of course, it's not a best option, but because Nahida gives us so much elemental mastery, it's solid here. I like using less popular characters, and one thing Clorinde's underrated for is making a lot of them more viable. Swapping Nahida out for Collei in this team is genuinely decent, especially if you have constellations on Collei. With us going to Natlan soon and people speculating that there might be some Australian influence in there, why not warm ourselves up with a character that throws boomerangs? I prefer Nahida in AoE and Collei in single target. Swapping the boomerangs out for some dice, we've got this Quick Bloom team. It has all the elements to make a Hyper Bloom team, but I just consider it to be a Quicken team, and any extra damage from Hyper Bloom is just a bonus. For the Hydro slot, you can go with either of Yelan, Xingqiu or Furina. I like Yelan and run her in just about every team, but if you want to use one of the others, go for it. I want to throw out a quick tip as well regarding Clorinde. There's a lot of downtime when her skill duration runs out, so if you're not running her on 4-piece Thundering Fury, it's worth using a burst at the end of a rotation instead of the beginning. It uses up some of that downtime and it also takes advantage of the passives. The first passive gives a burst extra damage, and the second passive gives a 20% extra crit rate. Bear in mind though, if you're using Mist Splitter, to get its full buffs you'll want to start with the burst. With all this battling and moving around in AoE situations, the button on Clorinde's shirt has been put under a lot of pressure. In order to hold it together, we need a strong pirate lady like Beidou. Her and Yelan are going to do their best to strengthen the threads, while Xingqiu reads them instructions from one of his books. The ordeal's going to leave the enemies completely stunned, flabbergasted and bamboozled in this taser team. Let's say you're in a single target situation though. A little less movement means Beidou's muscles aren't required to keep the shirt together, and you could just put Fischl von Luftschloss-Narfadorts back in there. Honestly, I prefer the teams with Dendro. I think they're stronger because Clorinde's damage is slightly underwhelming without Quicken, but this team will clear most, if not all the content in the game. Putting Chevreuse in a team gives you another gun so you can shoot the ass, cock and tits off everything. Xiangling's gonna cook all those goodies, Oz is gonna DoorDash it to people, and voila, a nice overloaded team. If you want to, you could run Bennett in this team instead of Chevreuse, but I find it boring running him all the time. The team has Fischl and Xiangling who are already two heavily used characters, so getting Chevreuse in there gives something a bit different. She provides a little bit of healing, energy especially with Favonia's lance, attack for the whole team, reduces the opponent's pyro and electro resistance, her damage as a sub DPS is solid too. She functions well at C0 but gets a lot of value from her constellations, so if you manage to get a few copies of her, I strongly advise building her. She'll come in handy in the new endgame mode too. I did a guide for Imaginarium Theatre a week ago on which characters to build for it, so check that out if you're interested. Swapping out one foodie for another, we have Xiangling out making way for Thoma. Just like Clorinde has brought Collei into the mix, she's also given us another use for Thoma outside of Burgeon teams. The self-healing from Clorinde as well as the little bit of healing from Chevreuse should be enough to keep you alive, but if it's not, Thoma's shield will help. His C6 also gives Clorinde 15% extra normal attack damage. Giving Thoma 4-piece Noblesse and Favonia's lance also means you can take them off Chevreuse to give her a more damage orientated build. To be honest, I think that's one of the things that helps this team compete with the previous one. Oz isn't the only electro bird we have at our disposal though. Kujo Sara is another lesser used character that Clorinde brings into the conversation. Giving a Favonia's Warbow will help give the team some of the energy lost by dropping Fischl, and if you have a C6, it's gonna bring Clorinde's personal damage higher than Team 4. There are so many different hypercarry combinations you could go for using 3 of Sara, Bennett, Kazuha and a Dendro option, but with Sara dealing a bit of damage herself anyway, I like this one with her as a hybrid. While farming for Clorinde's set, if you put your bad pieces in the strongbox for emblem pieces, you can put them on both Sara and Xiangling, making it efficient to farm. Let's put Overloaded aside and look at something else. Furina likes cake, Clorinde's got cake. It makes sense that we'd give them a go together. Clorinde's self-healing is enough to continuously proc Furina's fanfare stacks, and with the constant fluctuations in HP, you could give Clorinde a 4-piece Marechaussee set. It fits quite nicely with the lore. It's quite a risky team to run with Furina draining everyone's HP and not being a dedicated healer, but for non-abyss situations like the overworld and domains, you can always switch to Furina's healer stance. For those of you that don't care too much for meta and just want to see your Clorinde and Navia ship in the same team, team, you could run Clorinde with Fischl, Navia and Yunjin. Unfortunately, I don't have Navia, so I'll explain how it works and you can let me know in the comments if you enjoy playing it. Fischl gives Navia enough Electro for more shards to increase her skill damage. A C6 Yunjin increases Clorinde's normal attack damage, but also the attack speed, meaning more Fischl C6 procs. If the team has uptime on crystallized shields, you'll also get the Geo Resonance to increase the team's damage and also decrease the enemy's Geo resistance to make Navia hit harder. For a score out of 10, I'd give Clorinde a 7.5. Following Arlecchino in the previous patch, I don't feel like Clorinde deals as much damage and she isn't as versatile. It is nice that you can throw a 4-piece Gladiator on her though, and she doesn't have burst uptime issues like C0, making her useful for content outside the Abyss, which is often overlooked. If you enjoyed this video, I have one for Al Haytham too. Check that out if you're interested, and take it easy.